Before we finish this Spring Boot quick demo, well, this is really quick demo, right? Because all we did is we created two files. One is a controller and one is a template or time-lived template. So it's very simple. I also want to talk about one more thing in the project structure. Okay, so make it larger. From this structure, we know that we write source code, and all the source codes, they will be stored in src main, and all the test cases will be under test. Now, of course, if you launch your program, then target is where it houses all the output of this current build. Okay, so not surprised. We have also discussed what is mvnw and mvnw.command. Those are Maven wrappers. But what we haven't talked about is this pom.xml. Okay, so double click. This is an XML file. If I scroll down, well, there are a lot of things in it, right? Well, you don't have to understand everything to work with Spring Boot, but I really want to talk about what is in pom.xml. So make sure that you know enough so you can move on, and when something happened, you know how to fix it. What is a POM or POM? A POM or Project Object Model is the fundamental unit of work in Maven. It is an XML file that contains important information about this Spring Boot project and configuration details used by Maven to build this Spring Boot project. Remember, a Spring Boot project is actually a Maven project. Well, I have used Maven, this term, many times, right? For people who are not familiar with Maven, you're like, what is a Maven project? What is Spring Boot project? What a confusion, right? We're going to talk about Maven later on. But for now, I just want you to remember, a Spring Boot project is a Maven project. It means a Spring Boot project is using Maven as a tool to build the project and manage dependencies. Now, of course, Spring Boot project can use other tools like Gradle or Ant. Those are also popular build tools. Well, actually, you can use Maven in some non-Spring Boot project. You can use Maven in any Java projects. For example, you can use it in CS1 and CS2 projects. But I think those will be overkill, right? Because the projects you developed in CS1 and CS2 courses are very simple. And Maven is especially useful when you develop large Java applications. So I highly recommend you use Maven if you develop a large or enterprise level Java application. Simply put, a Spring Boot project is a Maven project. Not all Maven projects are Spring Boot projects. Okay, before we talk about what Maven is, I want to briefly show you the important elements in this pom.xml. Now remember, this pom.xml is for Maven, not for Spring Boot. Okay, XML is very similar to HTML. They are both markdown languages. So this is the open tag project. If I scroll all the way down here, and here is when we close it. Now in between the project tag, there are many important information. First, this is model version 4.0.0. Don't worry about what this is, okay? This will be generated automatically. And line 5 to line 10 defines the parent POM of this current POM. So POM can be inherited, okay? We'll talk about this later on. And this is actually very important because line 5 and line 10 defines this Maven project to be a Spring Boot Maven project. So if I delete it, then this becomes a regular Maven project. It is no longer a Spring Boot. So let's go back. I'm going to talk about this artifact, Spring Boot starter parent. Actually, this one defines the Spring Boot project. I'm sure you're familiar with line 11 to line 15 because we set those when we create this Spring Boot Maven project. We have group ID. Now, group means we're belonging to computer science department. If you work for Google, it should be com.google. If you work for Facebook, it should be com.facebook. Now, under one group, we may have many artifacts. So artifact ID is used to differentiate different artifacts under the same group. You can also think about group as an organization. Later on, we'll develop a second artifact under the same group, Hogwarts Artifacts Online. So line 13 is the version. Snapshot here means development. That means this is a development version. It is not ready to be released. Maven has a very complete process for release. So right now, our version is 0.0.1. This is the name of the project, and this is the description of the project. Okay, I'm pretty sure some student will say, well, this is very similar to something we have learned in Node.js. If you remember that in Node.js, there's a tool called npm, Node Package Manager. And in npm, there is an important file called package.json. That's right. The purpose of pom.xml is similar to the purpose of package.json. So here is an interesting comparison. In Java, we have Maven as a build tool or dependency management tool. And in Node.js, we have npm and other tools for downloading and managing dependencies. In Maven, we got an important file called pom.xml. And in npm, we got package.json. So when you learn a new thing, always compared with something you have learned. Okay? Then here, we define the version of Java that Maven is going to use to compile our code. Because there's no 12 in the drop-down box when we create this project, when we pick the Java version. So we pick 11. Now we're going to change it to 12. The next important element is called dependencies. As you can see, if I collapse this, so here are the dependencies. Now in dependencies, there are many dependency. So dependency, dependency, and dependency. So there are 3 dependencies in this dependencies tag. Okay, so let's look at them one by one. For dependency, there are 3 important tags inside. Group ID, artifact ID, and the third one is version. But in here, the version is omitted. I'm going to explain why later on. But usually, when you use a Maven project, you have to specify 3 things to uniquely identify an artifact. Okay, that means I want this artifact, timeleaf, that released from this group, okay, org, Spring Framework.boot. So this is the organization or company or group name or group ID. And this is one artifact. And here we're going to have a version. Okay, by default, you're supposed to have a version. But in here, you can omit it. Because using group ID, artifact ID, and a version, you can uniquely identify one particular artifact that is out there. Okay, it's in Maven Central. And in Maven, we call them coordinates. So those are coordinate. Okay, to uniquely identify a project or artifact and specify how the project artifact should be packaged. So those coordinates, they're really the unique identifier and can help us find the version of external projects or libraries that my project is using. So right now, my project is using timeleaf, web, and by default, it brings in test. So this is one place you can see those dependencies. There is another way you can see those dependencies. That is through this set bar. If you click Maven here, it shows you this panel. And if you click dependencies, as you can see, right now we have 3 dependencies. The first one, second, and third. And you can expand them. As you can see, this dependency is depending on something else. And this dependency is depending on something else. It's really a dependency tree. Okay? Once you specify those dependencies in pom.xml, Maven will go to the internet. Actually, there is a website called Maven 2 Central repository, where it stores all the jars and projects and artifacts there. So Maven will go there and download those projects and jars dependencies for your project, so you can use it. Now remember, without Maven, okay, in your CS1 and CS2, or even in my database class, we have to manually download the jar files and manually copy and paste them into your project, and then select all of them, right-click, add to library or add to class path. Then you can use the services provided by those dependencies. But using Maven, all you need to do, all a developer needs to do, is specify those coordinates in POM. And Maven will automatically download this and install it for you. So they're available in your project. One important usage of Maven is Maven will help us manage all the dependencies. It's very similar to NPM. So as you can see here, under my project, there is the external libraries. If I expand it, so all those libraries are downloaded by Maven. Okay, if I scroll all the way down, so here is, let's see, here is the web, the second one. Okay, let me make sure you have, this is the starter web and also web MVC. And here we have timeleaf. If I expand it, this is a jar. Okay, we don't have to download the jar by ourselves. Maven downloads them and organizes them very well for us, so we can use in our project. Okay, then the question is, where does Maven download all those jars? If you think about npm, now npm download everything from npm repository and put them in a directory called node modules, right? But where does Maven store all the downloaded jars? Okay, I'll tell you that it's not installed in this project. Okay, it is installed on your machine. So let me show you how to find it. So go to IntelliJ IDEA and press Preference. Okay, click Build Execution Deployment. Okay, and click this Build Tools. Well, as you can see, there are actually many build tools like Maven. So the competitors are like Gradle and Gaunt. Okay, I hope this is the right pronunciation because Ant used to be a very popular tool. I think Gaunt is just a extension, or Gaunt. Okay, but Maven is the most popular, and I heard that Gradle is gaining a lot of tractions. Okay, it's becoming more and more popular. But either way, and we choose Maven as default. But you can use Gradle when you create a Spring Boot project. Anyway, so click Maven. Okay, if you're not using IntelliJ to work on a Maven project, then you have to manually go there and download Maven and install Maven. And Maven is implemented in Java, so you have to install Maven. Just like you have to install npm when you use Node.js, right? But if you're using IntelliJ, IntelliJ has a bundled built-in Maven. So no more download for Maven, okay? You don't have to download Maven. IntelliJ already have it. That's why we love IntelliJ. And here it has a local repository, okay? Once you specify, right here, once you specify all the dependencies in POM, Maven will automatically go there, okay? Go to Maven Central and download all those jars and save them locally in users bingyang.m2 repository. Okay, so now let's go there and see if we can find all those jars in these external libraries. Okay, we're looking for timeleaf and also Spring Framework. Okay. Okay, now I'm under users bingyang and I have made all the hidden files visible. And you can see there is a .m2. Okay, this is a hidden directory. Okay, double click. So there's a repository. So let me put them side by side so you can see it. Okay, so it's under .m2 repository. So if I double click, well, as you can see, there are actually many packages already downloaded. Okay, because I have used this computer for a while, I have worked on many Maven projects. So Maven stores or cached all the downloaded jars in it. Okay, so I don't have to re-download again when I start a new project. Okay, so let's go to find org.springframework because, let me show you this. Let me close this. Because the artifact is called org.springframework.boot.springboot starter web. Okay, so let's go there. So let's first find org. So right here, expand it, and go all the way down to Spring Framework. Again, let me put them side by side so you can see it. Okay, so let's find timeleaf. Okay, let's go to Spring Framework right here. Boot. So we're now under org Spring Framework boot. So that's the group ID. Then in here we can find Spring Boot Starter timeleaf right here. I have worked on other projects. That's why here on my machine, I have a lot of other jars, okay? Now, if you look at your repository, you probably only have a few, okay? But when you work on more and more Maven projects and your .m2, this folder here will be very huge, okay? Can I delete it? Of course. If you delete it, every time you start a Maven project, Maven will automatically recreate this .m2 file and re-download everything. You probably don't want to do that because that will cause some bandwidth and make your project very slow. Okay, that's why Maven is caching all those downloaded jars, so many other projects can share it. Okay, last but not least, here is the plugin that Spring Boot is requiring. Spring Boot is using Spring Boot Maven plugin.